Hello and welcome to Eye Openers. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning, Max. And thank you to all of you guys for tuning in. I know what you're here for. Max's hair, right? No. You're here for some eye-opening insights into how to better run your business, how to show up as a stronger leader, how to shape the culture of your organization to really serve you, your team members, and your community at the end of the day. That's why we're here. And I am bringing on Max Traylor for a second time because you guys, he's that good. Trust me on this. We do a lot of work together, but mostly we just tell a lot of bad jokes together. And that's why we get along, right?
I will not disappoint as long as I'm held to bad jokes and not any articulation of insightful thoughts. We'll be okay.
I think we can do both. We can do both. So you guys started my day nice and early today. I've already made it through the coffee. I'm moving on to tea. I'm having a special month-long illness thanks to my children. It was a cold we can't seem to kick, but this turmeric ginger tea is really spicy. Like it's, I'm feeling spicy today, and I'm going to deliver in this interview. What are you drinking?
Does your cold rhyme with Cyrus?
Like a virus?
Yeah. Like bad jokes first, insights later.
That was the first bad joke. I think we have to move forward from there. I don't know. It's just like the cold that keeps on giving. And when you have little kids at home, you just got to roll with it. But I think that we're rolling. So tell me what you are drinking this morning.
I am drinking a coffee that is pronounced stout. I do a lot of Beers with Max interviews, and it was a special one for you today. So this is made of coffee, chocolate, and get this, for you branding experts out there, lactose.
Ooh.
So I'm feeling very tolerant today.
Okay. So there is lactose in it. Like it's
like a primary ingredient. Like it's there for like I was going to see that and say, oh boy,
this is creamy.
Lactose for me. Cheers.
Bad joke number 2. Here we go, folks. We're rolling. So stouts have never been my thing, but I'm super impressed that you are having a stout at this time of day. But it speaks to that drink is the perfect blend of Eye Openers with Brittany and Beers with Max. Here we are.
It's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
Let's give these folks a proper introduction to who you are, because you're more than just some jokes and some beer.
I appreciate that. Lately, I've identified as the consultant's consultant, but I am the little kid that, during the 2-hour drive to Disney World, my dad would say, Max, put your personal life first and build a business around your personal life. And that was my lullaby. And I don't know when I decided that I would dedicate my life to spreading that message, but that became the thing. Today, I'm mostly focused on helping consultants, independent consultants specifically, coaches you might identify as, help accomplish that mindset. And so that's me.
And why focus on this group specifically? Like, what challenges did you find that they had that made this work important for you?
Yeah. For a long time, I helped companies do it. They have more money. And my specialty that I fell into was helping them create a consulting practice and build a team around that. But maybe 2 years ago, I started talking to these executives and they'd say, Max, I'm going to leave my job. Like, I'm done with it. Can you help me? I want to do that, but can you help me do it? Like for me, and I can start my own practice. And what I noticed about applying the same, because I do the same exact thing, but when I do it for individuals, their lives change. There are like a demonstrable. Is that a demonstrative, whatever that word? There's very clear changes to their personal lives. They go from working 5 days a week to 2 days a week. They go from 40 hours to 20 hours. They take 3 months off and take their family to Africa and things like that. I have zero stories of that happening with organizations. Zero stories. I've got financial stories. I've got strategic stories. I've got, yay, look at us, we're making more money. But if anything, their lives got worse. They'd be promoted. And then, so congratulations, more responsibility, 2% raise, your life gets worse. We play the game. But yeah, so I fell in love with making an impact on people's lives, which goes back to that, that lullaby of, taking your kids to Disney World. And yeah.
So you were raised with this rhetoric that, hey, you don't have to, work your butt off day and night just because you own a business, that this can be something that you can create a business that really supports and serves your lifestyle and not the other way around. And now you have a family. And so this also hits really close to home, right? Because you are trying to balance those things or integrate them, right, the best that you can.
Lead by example. Yeah. Trying to do that. Making some progress. I know last time we talked about, this being the year of taking every 4th month off. I have now done that twice. I believe when we spoke, I had yet to do it once, or I was just coming back or something.
Yeah.
So I've almost normalized in that new practice.
Very cool.
And yeah, turns out like you can really do anything you want, and it's going to be equally difficult or equally easy. Like everything is difficult. So you might as well start with something that sounds cool.
What if it isn't difficult? I don't know. I love this saying that I ask my clients all the time, like, well, what if it were easy? Like, what if difficult's a mindset? Challenge is healthy for growth. So it might feel like challenge.
This year is the first time I feel like I know just a tiny bit about what's happening inside my head. We did a psychology study. We teamed up with this brilliant guy, Dr. Ken Faro, who's a PhD in psychology, and he dabbles in predictive analytics, like one of those brilliant people. And so we thought, okay, let's go talk to consultants about the psychological side, imposter syndrome, burnout, perfectionism, these sorts of things. And I'm pretty convinced that regardless of what we are doing, we will make it difficult for ourselves. We can't just make it easy. And I think it is a part of the entrepreneur or the consultant's genetic code to go seek the difficult, because then it's hard to follow you.
For sure.
If it's easy, if we're following the yellow brick road, we're gonna have marginal success. We're gonna be like, oh great, I'm just as cool as these other people. But I think we are attracted to the unknown, and we have to push the envelope. So if it is not actually difficult, I'm pretty sure we will manufacture a way to make it emotionally difficult for us.
Okay. Yeah, that's fascinating. I can't wait to learn more about that. But we will. But I want to focus on a even bigger question here, that will really help folks understand, who you are, where you're at, and what you're going after. So if you and I were to speak 3 years from now, what would you have accomplished that you'd be thrilled to tell me about? So I call you up. Hey, Max, it's been 3 years, way too long. I miss your jokes. What are you up to?
I will have flipped my current time paradigm balance. I'm taking a month off every 4th month. Every 4th month, I will have reversed that.
So instead of
I will work for a month and then take 3 off.
Got it.
I will work 3 months a year, not 9.
Fantastic.
And maybe for 5 years, I've really consciously measured my progress, and we plan annually. That was another big thing that came out in the psychology study, is that time behaviors or planning does wonders for creative energy, burnout, job satisfaction, life satisfaction. So I've always been blessed with, for some reason I plan, right? But on a yearly basis, we start the plan not with how much money we want to make. We start the plan with what's the progress we want to make in our personal lives. And so, it started with, I have a full-time job. I'm coming home tired every time I succeed. My life gets worse. So I'm going to go do my own thing, because for better or for worse, when I have kids, I'll be around. And I knew that was what I wanted to carry over that my dad did for me. So that was the first thing. And then it was me getting involved in some formal coaching programs and deciding that Monday was going to be my planning day. I wouldn't talk to any clients. I would simply plan on Mondays. So that was another, eating into the regimen. Then this big shift was every 4th month off. So I've always looked at and defined my progress based on growth in my personal life, not arbitrary financial growth. It's like the financial part is the second question. How do I make the money to give myself the freedom to do the thing that I really want to do?
Yeah. One thing I find in my work, and I haven't done a formal study on it, I find that the better parameters and boundaries entrepreneurs put on their personal time, like for the things they really love, the things that light them up, whether it's hobbies, family, vacation, travel, that the more financially successful they become.
Yes.
I can speak
Well,
to
now there is some study on that, because we looked at, I need to channel my inner Dr. Ken. Let's just nobody take what I say seriously, because I'm going to have a few percentage points off here.
okay.
But there are, there's imposters, there's workaholics.
Can we add a link to your study, or
Yeah, it's on my LinkedIn profile. It's there for free, along with all my other stuff. But time barriers were across the board for all the different profiles, because people identify as or are led by this feeling of imposter syndrome. They're the imposters. You've got the workaholics, the perfectionists, and the jack of all trades that refuse to get help from anybody. And every one of them has things that work and things that don't work. And something that works for a perfectionist is going to be terribly detrimental to a workaholic. So there's all these nuances, but there was one thing that across the board improved creative energy, job satisfaction, and of course, all these things are related to income. If you're happier, you make more money. Anyway, and that is time behaviors, barriers. But the interesting part was that it doesn't matter how much you work. Like, if you're a workaholic, it turns out you identify as a workaholic. If I try and change your mindset, bad things happen. Like you're like totally confused about your inner identity. It's bad. It's not good. So be your workaholic, work your butt off, but give yourself a barrier. And it doesn't even matter if that barrier is pick something crazy, like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., like total not good, like you're working too much, right?
Yeah.
But it's the barriers itself that are important, not how long the barriers are, just that you have a rule. So yes, give yourself barriers. The other thing that was more important is how you spend your time. So you work 6 to 10. Great. You're a workaholic. Perfect. If you spend your time on things that give you energy, that you love to do, and don't lie to yourself, because we all taught ourselves to do things. We say, I love this. I love building websites. You don't, man. You don't want to go through the effort to find somebody that can do it better than you.
Or I say zone of genius.
Zone of genius. Right. So you've got your zone of genius, and then you've got that weird middle area where you've learned to do it, and you have a limiting belief that other people can't do it better than you. You're wrong. So you got to delegate that stuff. But anyway, the point is that you have to be intentional and conscious of what you spend your time on, especially for a workaholic, because if you're doing administrative stuff that drains your energy and doesn't give you satisfaction in life, it's not good. But it's okay if you do the things that you truly love to do and that give you energy.
So what are those things for you? So you're going to spend 9 months off. What does that look like? What is the thing that, lights you up about that plan to work hard towards it?
I've got 2 kids, so double the fun, double the trouble. I'd like to go out feeling like, I did a good job there. And golf. I've learned that I have like an oddly my dog just came in the room. Hey, buddy, my dog just came in the room, and this is what happens. Now the kids are looking in the. I need help. Help me. And then he sits in the door.
And parental rule number 1: close the door.
The door was closed. The door is open inwards, and it's difficult. Need some help.
So there's.
Okay, so yeah, what was the question? Sorry, I digress.
Well, we were talking about your family, which is super important. That's like one of one of
and golf
and golf, right?
And golf.
Well, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper right here because one thing people sign up for when they come on here is I get to poke and prod and dig a little bit. What is the impact, value, or purpose that extends beyond that? Because I find a lot of entrepreneurs have something extra too that they're working towards. So part of my vision and mission is that if I can help people run their organizations better, become stronger leaders, build a better culture for all the employees, it impacts those individuals because they spend most of their waking hours there, their families, the bigger community. And if we can help create happier, more purpose-driven, more fulfilled individuals, we can eliminate some of the societal problems that we have. And that is the mark I want to make. So I want to hear about your bigger goal that this allows for, this like freedom of time and money.
Okay. I got you.
I want you to
we'll put aside my competitive addictions for a later coaching session.
I have those too.
The contribution I want to make to the world is the same gift that I was given as a kid. I'd walk into my dad's office. I'd say, Dad, where do you make the money? Because as a naive 5-year-old, I thought he was printing money in that magical little printer he had in his office. And he said, no, Max, the reason we go to Disney World all the time is because I have a digital, scalable, residual business model. I had no idea what that meant. So translate for a 5-year-old, you put your personal life first. You build a business around your personal life. So the more freedom I get, the more creativity I can apply to expanding and giving that gift and that mindset to other people. And the way I will measure my progress is in objective criteria, like how much time do you spend with your family or in your zone of genius or playing your equivalent of golf. So that is what I want to contribute to people. But my dad also said that he lives the life that his clients should be living, and he does it on their behalf. Like part of his obligation to the world was to do exactly what he wanted to do to prove to everyone else that it could be done. So I do enjoy a good, 4 days of golf and not contributing to people, to come back with that creative energy and to say, you see, I'm still alive. Nothing happened. And look, now I have all this creative energy and excitement to help you.
That's awesome. It's so important when you have a business that helps other people in business, teach, like showing them. You have to really walk the walk, I guess, walk the talk.
Let me help you improve your personal lives. Well, I work 80 hours a week.
But it's amazing how many people are in that situation. It's confusing.
Confusing. Yes. Yes.
So what do you think? So we talked a little bit about your dad, but what are some of the skills that you believe got you to where you are today?
Focus. And this is so like my clients say that I see the value in other people and I simplify the complex. So that is something that I can directly apply to how I do business. Like that's what led me to that, in my background led me to, I want to help consultants package up their intellectual property. I think that is the best that is where I can be most impactful in this mission that I have to help people grow in their personal lives.
Yeah. And I just want to interject real quick and do this for you. I was a client of Max's, and he really helped me. I had created so many tools and little worksheets, like things that were essentially my IP, but I never thought of that way. I never like treated it with that much care. I just had piles of it. And you helped me really like audit it, go through everything, categorize it, figure out the process that I was already using with all my clients that was like just underneath my nose. I was like too close to it. I couldn't see it, but you really helped me see that. And now that is in everything I do. I'm giving a talk in Kansas City in 2 weeks. That is the structure of my talk. Whether you work with me for a year or 3 months, you're getting that same process just in different ways. And so it has made it so much easier for me to show up for my clients. It's made it so much easier for me to do sales as a coach because I have this really unique process that I offer. I'm not just a coach, right? I have really unique ways in which I see problems and go about solving them. And now that's articulated for me. And my proposals are just streamlined. I get them out the door in 10 minutes, and that really helps seal the deal too. So, and then
you're making me blush.
Oh, well, I'm happy to share about it because it changed the way that I see myself. And that's made a huge difference. Not like I had a ton of confidence problems before, but all of us have that growing edge where we like want to lean into it, but we're a little bit afraid of it. Maybe that's some of that imposter syndrome that you're talking about. But I find in all of the people that I work with that everybody has this growing edge, and that was mine. And it really, just knowing that, seeing it, pulling it through made a big difference for me. So that's what Max does.
So current professional state. But I think more than that, if the question is, what is the behavior, what is the thing that got me to where I am today? 100% ability to focus. When I first went out on my own, I joined this strategic coach program, and they give you these planners, right? And there's 40 spaces. There's a left side of the page and there's a right side of the page, and there's 40 little spaces where you can write things that are important. And that's supposed to be your quarterly plan. That's what I started to do. I started to take pride in filling out the 40 things. That was young Max. Older me realizes that you're only consistently going to succeed doing one thing at a time. When I wrote 40 things, I would accomplish one of them. The only thing I was doing is giving up control of what that one thing was going to be. It was like, oh, random. Oh, that's so weird. I accomplished one of these things. That's cool. But now it is a regular practice to say, out of all the things that I could do, what is the one thing that is going to contribute the most to this overall goal that I want to make? So absolutely, where I am today is a matter of every year and every quarter selecting the one thing that will be most important and giving myself permission to put everything else on the back burner until 3 months later or a year later, that discussion comes up again where it can be considered to be one of those things that I'm going to focus on.
Great. And well, what are some breakthroughs that have changed that your business along the way? I want to ask that question a little differently based on what you just said. In creating that focus, because I think this is so important. This is something I see people struggle with all the time. They show up at my doorstep completely overwhelmed. They don't know what to focus on. What kind of breakthroughs have happened for you, or moments of insight, eye-opening moments have come from those periods of focus?
Yeah.
Change the way you show up in your business, change the way.
So it sort of happened in waves, but early on, I wanted employees. I wanted a team. I wanted to work with other people. I was very team oriented. 4 years in agency life, I wanted nothing to do with the team. I was like, no more people. I want to be in a dark room. I want to be able to do whatever I want. And that was just a reaction to, I think, the business model, not exactly the team aspect. The major breakthrough was realizing that right after I achieve focus, the next question is, who can help me accomplish that? And the breakthrough for me is, you can have supporting roles. You can have self-motivated, self-organized, self-disciplined people that are entrepreneurs in their own right, helping you accomplish what you want to accomplish, allowing you to do more of what you do best, and you let them do what they do best. You don't have to babysit people. You don't have to hold their hand. And so there was a period of time where I was limited by what I could do. And as soon as I brought in somebody whose superpower was to find the people and create the systems so that I could do more of what I do best, that was far and away the biggest breakthrough. And I think it was a mindset breakthrough more so than anything else. The mindset is, who can help me do more of what I do best?
Amazing. And so how did you go about solving for that?
Well, I found I'm terrible at delegating.
Really?
I learned, yeah, I'm terrible at delegating. I delegated delegation. I brought in somebody who's like, look, I know this is important. I'm not good at it. So can you like watch what I do and just take things from me? And I'm not allowed to say no. So I track my time, another great habit.
Yep.
And we look at the things I'm spending my time on and we go, wow, that's not what you should be doing. And every quarter we pick something, we take it away.
You have a partner that you work with, Katrina.
That's the partner.
She's fabulous. And so that's your guys' process. You do. She kind of watches what you're doing and finds the way, oh, I can take that off.
Yes. And it's not even her that takes it off, because then she would be, it's very meta, but then she wouldn't be doing what she does best if she just did the things. Yep. She recognizes that it needs to be delegated, creates a system, finds the person, puts that person in play, and is prepared to replace that person if need be. So I think I have, I don't know, maybe 7 support roles. I've never met them. I'm sure they're great people. I work 20 hours a week. I can play a lot of golf because they exist, but that's Katrina's doing. That's not me.
Yeah.
And so letter A, I need to delegate. Letter B, you might not be good at delegating, or you might not see what you need to be delegating. So
I think that's the hardest part, is the seeing. Like I feel like I'm good at delegating. Like I'm so happy to have support and get things off my plate. But I think sometimes when you are just used to doing the things, it is hard to see how other people could do them.
Yeah, and I think we develop a certain pride. No, worth. Like when we go to sleep at night and we say, did I do everything I could today to feed my family? Like I have an obligation. And that includes, I don't know, booking calls with people or something stupid like that. Well, guess what? Like you don't need to do that. You don't need to have that weird arbitrary connection between your worth and something like that. So it's that mindset shift of, hey, I can get, just because I'm not doing that thing doesn't mean I can't get it done. And then what's it worth for me to apply that creative energy to something that I am truly born to do and that no one else can do?
Right. That zone of genius work. That's very cool. So based on this like delegation and kind of looking at what you're working on, what would you identify as your biggest weakness?
You gave me that question to think about, and it's the one I thought about the most and tried not to be cliche. My weakness is my greatest strength.
No. That's not what we do here.
I know. So here's my answer.
Very vulnerable, because that's how we make great change.
Yeah. So here's what I think the real answer is for me. I want to be comfortable. And I know comfort is the death of any entrepreneur. It's like the opposite of growth. But like, I like playing a lot of golf and I like playing a lot with my kids. So the focus has brought me to a point where I'm like, yeah, why change? Why grow? I'm making progress in the right areas and I've got this system and I'm focused on something and it's working. But I know that that's not going to last forever. I know that I'm going to need to make big changes in my life and in my business to survive. I just I don't want to do it. Like I really don't. But so that I think is going to be my weakness. It's like, hey, there's another, there's another recession coming. We're going to need to make some changes. Like, really though?
Uh,
Can we just wait till it happens and deal with it then?
Well, hey, I appreciate that candidness so much. And you're not alone in that. Actually, our brains are wired to try to take the easiest path. Comfort is comfort for a reason. It feels good. And we're driven to follow what feels good. So that makes a ton of sense. And like at the exact same time, you know that if you're not growing, you're dying and all of that rhetoric. But I think it's not an either or. I think it's an and. I think there can be places of comfort and places of growth and edginess in the same day at the same time. I think we just got back into rock climbing. I hadn't been rock climbing like 13 years or something, but my kids are really into it, which is so cool. I literally had to like pry them off the wall the other day. Um, and when you're going for like a new hold, you have these like points of contact on the wall, your hands and your feet, right? And you have to like take a hand off, take a foot off. Sometimes you only have 2 points, and that feels really edgy because you're unstable. So I think it's like finding this right balance of like, can I lean into these really steady holds here in order to like make this dynamic, leap over here?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just find like that analogy makes so much sense to me when I think about my own growth in business or for myself, for my clients, that it's an and situation. You have some stable points that you can lean into while you're growing over here, while you're reaching.
Yeah. I find myself in the middle of that wall going, wow, what a cool wall. I'm just going to chill right here.
Well, I hope you have somebody strong on belay on the rope down below.
Yeah, but in thinking about it, there was another thing, because it was a good opportunity to think about my weaknesses. I am terrified of people not liking me, and there's a few situations when I was a kid that I think it stemmed from. But the other thing happened very quickly. Like, I was very good at sports from the very beginning, and I started to notice that people liked me because I was they always wanted me on the team. And so
Yeah.
there's a very early connection between being the best at something and being liked. And so I beat myself up if I feel like I am not the best, because I feel like people won't like me if I'm not the best. So I have trouble just accepting that being really good at something is good enough. And it's just a beating myself up kind of thing. And that hurts the confidence. And the confidence is what has gotten me to where I am today, to make those leaps. And so maybe being stuck on the wall is actually a product of a breakdown in confidence. Anyway, now I've lost my track. This is what coaches are for.
This
You know any
is
good
so
coaches?
It's so good. Loving that you really sat with this question. I appreciate your thoughtfulness and candidness in bringing this, because there is so much of our personal narrative tied to how we show up in our business. And we don't take the time for that self reflection and examination that can actually make it different. So, what if it's that confidence that created the success you've had to date, but it will take something different, perhaps the self-reflection and the vulnerability and the maybe even humility, to get to that next level, which is owning that, hey, if I can let go of this needing to be the best or have that be the perception, what becomes possible? What can I do with that energy instead?
It's okay to fall off the wall. People won't dislike you or stop hanging out with you because you fell. I'm trying to do your rock wall analogy. I'm a fan.
Good, you can have that one. You can use it.
Put it in the analogy box.
But I find that this is often the way. Like we lean into our strengths for a while, and it gets us so far by pushing through, right? But what if it's actually like this stepping back and like stepping into maybe some of our like softer sides or things that we haven't uh instead of muscling through, what's another way that might actually help you grow leaps and bounds, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the most obvious path. The obvious path has gotten you this far, which is awesome. But What do we know about people who have had huge success? They've had 100 failed things along the way.
Hmm.
And if we are too focused on being liked, which ultimately comes back to wanting to be accepted by a group, which is one of our hierarchy of needs for survival. So it's really this self-preservation where it's coming from. So I say, thank you, brain. Thanks for trying to help me and keep me alive. But I don't need that right now. I have enough to keep me safe. How can I rest on that safety in order to help propel me into something maybe a little more uncertain, which is trying something new, trying something I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I'm not sure if everyone's going to love it or buy it or accept me. But that's how we get these innovative growth solutions that we see from people. This is how we get disruptors in industries, right?
Yeah. Well, I always, I need an adult, you throw up your hands and you say, look, I am this way. And so it's kind of important that I have people that check in on me time to time, or a business partner that understands the way you are, and can, in your case, help you understand it. In the case of Katrina, my business partner, I think about what happened during COVID, and I wasn't really scared. I thought, great, there's an impending event. People are gonna do the scary thing. Like, I'm good. Katrina's like, no, we need to totally change everything. We need to do it right now. Think of something. And I was like, okay. And then that activated the thinking of something. And then we did what became the Oh Shit program. And we decided to let people pay what they wanted. And we did all this crazy stuff.
Wow.
But it wouldn't have happened if she didn't say, Max, do your thing. Like, change everything right now. And so sometimes you need an adult in the room.
Yeah. And so another word for adult might be like someone who, a team member or a confidant, a mentor, a supportive person, somebody who can help kind of push you into your zone of genius, maybe when it's not comfortable, and help you pull out the next iteration of your work or innovative solution that you can offer.
Yeah, I just picked up that phrase from childhood. To me, it's about perspective.
Wow.
Somebody with an outside perspective. And when I was 6, I wasn't going to go to another 6-year-old. Can you give me some perspective on life? So anyway, I need an adult just became like the funny phrase that my dad and I used for, like, let's go talk to someone.
Awesome. Well, we just kind of hit on like what are the number one behaviors that got you here, but might hold you back. We just pretty much covered that. What would you say is the greatest opportunity in front of you right now? So we talked about your 3-year plan, right? We talked about flipping the time off table there, where you spend 9 months off. But what's the greatest opportunity in front of you right now that's going to help get you there in the next few years?
Yeah. I'm 2 years into this journey of shifting the focus of my business to a one-to-many delivery model. And in this case, I'm trying to master 10 people at a time. I want to get 10 people in a room. I want to do my thing. And I want to see the life results that I see when I work with somebody one-on-one. I'm 2 years into that. I'm not satisfied yet. And so the greatest opportunity in front of me that will lead to me being able to flip that model is really mastering. Like, you get 10 people in front of me in 90 days, I can change their business, change their life. And so that's what I'm focused on right now. And it's independent consultants that I have in my, my target, my sites.
Okay. So anybody who's kind of like a solopreneur, or somebody who knows they're an expert at something, has set out to do their own thing. That's who you
Yeah.
Okay.
And really makes every important decision on their own.
Right.
Because I don't have the patience for decision by committee.
Got it. Maybe that's the first thing you teach them. Faster decision making.
Maybe that's the third book. I just turned in my second one, so we missed the deadline.
Ah, exciting.
Yeah.
So the next one's the rock climbing analogy. That's the
right. Yeah. Well, I always wanted to do a children's book because I'm terribly sarcastic. So I wanna just do like a children's book style for entrepreneurs that kind of pokes fun at how we're really childish in a lot of ways.
I like
And the advice is quite obvious. So like make faster decisions, like Billy's stuck, there's fire and then there's not fire over here, but it could be good fire and we're not sure.
Oh boy, folks, stay tuned for that children's book.
Yeah, and you know what we'll call it? Little Billy Wants a Business. There you go.
Okay, you keep drinking that stout, my friend.
Just once. I mean, this is me, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Guys, these eye openers are getting a little fuzzy.
it's eye closers.
Eye closers, no. Okay, Max, how can people find you? If they're a consultant themselves, if they're like, this is kind of interesting. I know I have special stuff, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to get them out of my own
or
way.
how to avoid me, like how to put maxtrailer.com on your block list. Yeah. Well, LinkedIn is really the place I hang out. So, and I can update it really easily. So if you want a copy of the Psychology of Consultants study, if you want my most recent publication, the workbook for doing things better, my first book, Agency Survival Guide, it's all for free right there on LinkedIn. That's where I post my content. So I think it's just LinkedIn/Max Traylor, like however you do that.
We'll make sure it's in all the places that we're posting this.
Right. Give me the good links, the hard links. And then maxtrailer.com. It's kind of outdated. But I have a website.
That's okay.
So I got that going for me.
I think I love that example actually that you're setting, because so many people are so afraid to get started or do anything because their website isn't perfect or their business card. If I hear that one more time,
it's the same thing as like I can't go to the party because my clothes aren't right, or like my hair is not right.
Is that what happens?
It's just me, yes, with my hair. When I have this natural curl means I'm ready. But 2 years of business. I was in business for 2 years before I created my own website. It is completely unnecessary. You need a place where people go, I go there to figure out who you are. That can be LinkedIn, that can be Facebook, whatever. You don't need a website. And I see people hiding behind true progress with this excuse of like, my website needs to be perfect. Like it's really not going to do anything for you.
That's right. Folks, that's the last insight right there, that you don't need to wait. And if you're waiting or if you're fearful, that's something else. So Max, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a good time. I appreciate the laughs and the great insights, actually. I always learn something. So thanks for joining us here on Eye Openers. Folks, you're going to see this posted everywhere. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. What was the biggest takeaway for you? And reach out to Max if he can be of help. Until next time, guys, keep searching for those eye-opening moments. Keep striving for growth, and we will see you soon.